Everyone, welcome to my talk. My name is Anne Jesus, and I work for the European Environment Agency in Copenhagen, where I coordinate a European network of foresight experts in the environment field. Today, I will talk to you about the foresight journey of the European Environment Agency and its network, who since 2008 have been building foresight capacities and developing and piloting participatory foresight methods and producing a growing body of knowledge in support of national and European environmental policies. So I'll start by briefly touching upon the unprecedented challenge we face, how the EU policy agenda is responding, how can foresight help us move towards the future we want, and then I will briefly introduce the EA and the IONET, our journey, and how we have formed a Foresight Hub in support of environmental policy in Europe. So the European Environment Agency's flagship report, which you can see here in the screen, the European Environment State and Outlook 2020, concluded that Europe faces unprecedented challenges of huge scale and urgency. Although EU environment policies have delivered substantial benefits over recent decades, Europe faces persistent problems in areas such as biodiversity loss, resource use, climate change impacts, and environmental risks to human health and well-being. This achieving the Europe's 2050 goal of living well within planetary boundaries requires policies, investments, and knowledge that are able to transform the core systems of production and consumption, such as the energy, the mobility, and the food system, deeply. And the context is, of course, one of urgency, uncertainty, and complexity. And the question we realize, is no longer why or whether sustainability transitions are necessary, but how. How do we make them happen at an unprecedented speed? This is the challenge of the next decade. And so the question is, how is the EU policy agenda then responding to these huge challenges? And the European Green Deal, the EU's growth strategy, puts the need for transformative change at the heart of EU policy. It promotes the transformation of key systems, the food, energy, mobility, buildings, as well as sets cross-cutting objectives in the field of environment and climate, such as no net emissions of greenhouse gases in 2050, the coupling of economic growth from resource use, protecting, conserving, and enhancing EU's natural capital, and in addition to that, ensuring a just and fair transition. So we know that transforming societal systems is a major governance challenge. System innovation is complex and uncertain and characterized by risks, unintended outcomes, and trade-offs. And this is where foresight can play a really important role in helping us, society, to define and move towards desired futures. For example, by using participatory processes to explore possible futures and pathways, risks as well as opportunities for policy and action. And this is recognized by the new European Commission, who sees foresight as a key tool to support EU's transformative agenda and ensure short-term initiatives are grounded in a long-term perspective. And this is illustrated by the appointment of a new vice president for institutional relations and foresight, which hadn't been the case before, and the annual publication of strategic foresight reports. So now I'll tell you a little bit about the European Environment Agency, the EA, and its network. So the EA is a EU, European Union agency that generates knowledge to support policy making and governance. We provide evidence-based knowledge on the environment and climate change to policymakers and also to the public. We work very closely with the IONET, our network of 38 member and cooperating countries, which covers a wide variety of topics, one of them being foresight. Together, our joint vision for 2030 is to enable a sustainable Europe through trusted and actionable knowledge for informed decision-making on the environment and climate priorities and solutions. So a little bit more about the IONET. So the IONET Foresight Network is a EU network of foresight experts that work in national environment ministries and agencies across these 38 member and cooperating countries. It was established in 2008, and it's coordinated by us at the EA. It has a distinctive environmental focus, and it established a very important link between the national and the EU scales. Its aims are to promote knowledge sharing and capacity building on foresight, to promote the use of forward-looking information in integrated environment assessments and state of environment reporting, and also to co-create knowledge and products that can inform policy making at both levels, national and EU. The members have a wide variety or range of expertise in areas such as horizon scanning, systems analysis, scenarios envisioning, and sustainability assessments. So throughout our foresight journey, we have used a variety of foresight methods and tools. In broad terms, you could say that we've been moving from left to right, from developing futures literacy and strengthening capacity building towards the development of increasingly more sophisticated, more complex products and outputs, and also increasingly more integrated in our core work, informing our assessments of the state of the environment. So in the next few slides, I'll take you through this journey and provide a little bit more detail. So I'd like to start by one of the first projects that we ran to build foresight literacy, and that was the development of a Foresight Dictionary. It was a very important step to build common understanding amongst the network around key foresight terms, because not everyone in the network obviously shares the same level of expertise. So this was an important step in that sense. In addition, we run a series of capacity building and knowledge sharing activities, such as webinars, training courses, often delivered by members of the network themselves. We hold annual meetings and expert meetings, and we also collaborate with other networks such as the OECD's Government Foresight Community by participating in their meetings, having them to come and present in our meetings, and collaborating in specific projects. Another dimension of our work, one that has been there for the longest, is the assessment of global megatrends, and more recently the shift towards assessing drivers of change. So global megatrends assessments have been integral to our State of Europe environment reports since 2010, and have been key to provide a global context for thinking about trends and outlooks in the environment. We've also, in collaboration with the network, have produced a method toolkit for understanding the implications of global megatrends at the national level, and then have applied it using a series of case studies with using country information. As I said, we in 2020 we have moved towards the assessment of drivers of change, which include global megatrends, but also emerging trends and weak signals and wildcards. So it brings a wider range of aspects into consideration. Another area where we've been very active is in horizon scanning, and we've been maintaining a weak signal collection in a collaborative pin board since 2017. We've developed a couple of guidebooks. This one here in the center is the most recent one, and it contains a series of really nice diagrams that can help people with low resources undertake a systematic horizon scan, so very much suited for grassroots initiatives. In terms of projects, we've also have produced trends on artificial meat, blockchain, delivery drones, and synthetic biology. And we are currently running a project, an horizon scanning project on that focuses on emerging social innovations in the food system. We, as part of our horizon scanning activities, we also have been contributing an important contributor to FORENF, the EU Foresight System for the systematic identification of emerging environmental issues since 2017. So we collaborate with the Director General for the Environment in the European Commission, initially to develop the method, and more recently to scan for weak signals and bring in information from national scans, and also to participate in the sense-making workshops for the identification of these issues. So more recently, we've been exploring with scenario building, and we have currently ongoing since 2020 a scenario project titled Scenarios for a Sustainable Europe in 2050, where we've already developed raw normative scenarios and global context scenarios. We are currently enriching these scenarios at the moment, and we'll also be using them to explore what sustainable core production and consumption systems could look like in 2050 and how we might get there. So that's the plan for this year, and we're using the food system as an example to trial the approach. So we could say that together the EA and the INET form an important Foresight Hub in Europe in support of environmental policy. Together, we've contributed to the strengthening of national foresight knowledge and practices across Europe. We have co-developed methods and tools. We have been feeding national expertise and perspectives and outputs into key EU policy processes and vice versa, having this very important strategic EU country link. And we've also been incorporating and developing ways for better incorporating foresight in integrated environment assessments and transition thinking. in a move towards the development of solutions-oriented and co-created knowledge that responds to the climate and environmental challenges that I described at the beginning. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any questions, just put them on the chat. I will stop sharing now my screen so I can see the chat. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'll have a look at the chat. So yeah, I have here a comment from Fatima that says the network seems to have lost some impact since SOAR 2020. What to expect for next year's? So I think I actually think that we have, since I've joined the agency in 2019, I feel that the network has been growing in relevance, and certainly it has been growing in the amount of activities and members involved. So I think yeah, in fact it's going in the opposite direction, and we've been increasingly collaborating with EU institutions, both participating in their projects and having them in joining us. So I think it's actually flourishing, and I expect to see that tendency continuing in the future because of the role Foresight, the key role Foresight currently has in EU policy making. Yeah. Yes, so this question here from Tico. Yes, we collaborate particularly with the OECD. Last year we've attended their government foresight network meeting and had hosted 2 joint sessions with them, one on improving the use of foresight in environmental policy, and also one on wildcards. So I think there's been a growing interest on both sides, and definitely lots of opportunities for collaboration between us and the OECD, for example. Yeah, I mean this, we certainly, I would say that the openness currently to incorporate foresight outcomes into policy making has increased massively, and this is illustrated by the European Commission's commitment to foresight and as as a tool for future proofing their policies. So I think we are transitioning towards a phase where all these outputs that have been generated and are being generated are actually are actually influencing policy processes in a way that I don't think it had happened before. So I think we're in that process, and also for us at the agency as well. I mean, we come from a tradition of dealing with data, bringing data together to produce assessments, integrated assessments of the environment that based on hard data. But given the nature, the complex nature, the uncertainty around the current challenges we face, we are also moving and towards bringing in other types of information, such as qualitative information, working with stakeholders to explore what the future could look like and how to realize these desirable futures. So I think there's definitely growing openness towards the use of this information in policy making. We I just would like to add to that to say that, I mean, we've been doing foresight for over a decade now. We started with this work on assessing global megatrends to give a global context to the issues we face. But we are certainly wanting to incorporate foresight much better in our assessments. For example, to use them in outlooks, use them as part of narratives that describe the challenges we may face, how the transition towards sustainability may be realized. And we have a contract, for example, running this year precisely to do a review of foresight studies applied to integrated environmental assessments or sustainability assessments, so we can learn from existing experiences, and then that will be complemented by a few workshops with experts both in foresight and assessments that can help us really make progress on and strengthening the foresight dimension in our next State of the Environment report in 2025. So that's our aim. Yeah. I just going to pick up here on Tito's comment about the materials and guidelines. Yeah, Tito, just to send me an email. I think maybe I can share my screen again, and you can see the email address. So it's basically Anna, ANA.jesus at ea.europa.eu, and you can yeah, I can send you some of these materials. Stop my screen. I mean, we have an interesting series that we have currently is a series of briefings titled Narratives for Change. We've published the first one in January, and the title of that one was Growth Without Economic Growth. And the aim of these narratives is to spur debate around alternative ideas, solutions for the issues we face. We currently finalizing one on the role of innovations, and we have others in the pipeline as well. So I think this format of this product that we've adopted is very is a very interesting one, and very these are short pieces. They are they aim to stimulate debate and bring in alternative ideas that are not in the mainstream. And so I think, yeah, that's one of the ways that we at the agency are engaging with these alternative realities and worldviews. Yeah, I think that there are no more questions for now. Oh, I can't hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna. Yeah, I think there are no more questions. Thank you very much for your presentation. It was really great. So really happy to have you at the Global Foresight Summit.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Have a nice day, and I look forward to seeing the other presentations as well.
Okay, thank you. And
Thank
thank you
you.
to all the people that have been watching. We are back in 10 minutes with the next session from Chris Meyer. So please remember to refresh your browsers to have access to the stream. Thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.